All right, today I'm here to talk to you about domestic violence protective orders. What is that? Well, if you're charged with domestic violence, either PC 273.5, which is corporal injury to a spouse or another, or PC 243, subsection E, subsection 1, domestic battery, the first thing that's going to happen when you come to court on your first court date, which is called an arraignment, is you're going to be served with a protective order. Boom. You're going to get slapped with it by the sheriff. What is a protective order? It's essentially a restraining order, and what it's going to say is you cannot have any contact, direct, indirect, telephonic, email, anything with the victim of the crime. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a good thing when the victim of the crime is, scared of the defendant, is scared of being hurt, is traumatized. She definitely wants restraint from the defendant. But a lot of times it's a bad thing because the person who's being restrained is the husband, the wife, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the significant other, or even a family member, a son, a daughter of the victim. And they live together, for example, husband and wife. The husband, in the heat of the moment, there's been this very emotional time. The police are called, and now the court date comes 6 weeks later, 3 months later. Everybody's calmed down, and they're still living together. They go to court. The let's say the husband in a case is slapped with a protective order. He has to move out of the house. He cannot meet with his wife anymore. They might have kids together. They can't go to dinner as a family anymore. It's very hard on the loved ones, like the children who cannot see their mother and father together anymore until that protective order is lifted. How does that protective order get lifted? Well, that's where we come in. We have to convince the judge that you are not a danger to the victim, and we do that in various ways. For instance, we'll have you enroll in domestic violence classes. Usually you have to have a handful of those, maybe a half dozen of those, to take to the judge to say that you've been doing this. It's not any admission of guilt. Number two is the victim, your wife, let's say, has to come to court and say that she's not scared of you, that she wants this lifted, that it's been hard on the family, and the judge has to be convinced. A lot of times a judge won't even lift a domestic violence case after the case is resolved. That means after it's dismissed or you plead guilty, the judge still will not lift it until certain things are done, like domestic violence classes.